In 1761, a massive, highly capable organization collapsed entirely from the inside out. The Third Battle of Panipat is remembered as a military disaster, but studying it offers a masterclass in systemic failure. Two massive forces collided on the plains of northern India, leaving immense casualties and reshaping the balance of power on the subcontinent. To diagnose exactly what went wrong, grab a blank piece of paper and draw this exact three-column layout. Label your columns Logistics, Leadership, and Ecosystem. Translating a 260-year-old historical tragedy into a modern strategic framework gives us a risk-free environment. We can use their fatal errors to audit the hidden blind spots inside our own projects today. We start with logistics. When the Maratha army marched north, they brought tens of thousands of skilled soldiers, but they also brought thousands of non-combatant civilians, families, and merchants along for the campaign. Attaching a sprawling, moving city to a military expedition destroyed their operational agility. This massive baggage train slowed their movement to a crawl and rapidly burned through their essential daily food rations. On this map, opposing commander Ahmad Shah Abdali exploited this bloat. His forces encircled the Marathas, completely severing their supply routes. As the central group shrinks and flashes red, starvation sets in, forcing the Marathas into a desperate, premature offensive. Go to the logistics column of your brief. Write down your own organizational non-combatants, the legacy tools, bloated approval processes, or resource-draining overhead currently slowing your team down. Operational drag is a fatal vulnerability. If your processes require too much energy to maintain, agile competitors will simply wait for you to exhaust your own resources. Even starving, the Marathas fought fiercely. Through sheer momentum, their artillery and cavalry pushed Abdali's forces back, nearly securing a ground victory. Then, in the heat of combat, the young, popular Maratha leader, Vishwasrao, was shot. Panic rippled through the ranks. Shortly after, the primary commander, Sadashivrao Bau, was killed in the chaos. This flowchart maps the immediate reaction. Visible leadership drives high morale, but the sudden absence of those specific commanders instantly fractures that morale, turning a winning push into a disorganized retreat. Move to your leadership column. Identify who holds the specialized knowledge or final approval authority on your team. Write down what happens to your timeline if those specific individuals become entirely unreachable tomorrow. A project runs on psychological momentum. When authority is strictly centralized, losing the central figure causes the entire structure to collapse. The Marathas were routed and their empire fractured. But Abdali's army also suffered devastating casualties. Bleeding and exhausted, he abandoned his conquest and retreated back to Afghanistan. Both primary combatants successfully neutralized each other, creating a massive political and military vacuum, a landscape entirely devoid of a dominant centralized force. The entity that claimed the ultimate prize never drew a sword at Panipat. As you can see stamped on this wax seal, it was the British East India Company that quietly stepped in to absorb the exhausted territories. Look at your ecosystem column. Write down the external organizations, software alternatives, or quiet competitors who benefit the most if you and your primary rival burn through all your capital fighting each other. Surviving a direct conflict yields zero return if the effort leaves your organization too exhausted to defend your position against a waiting third party. Now, draw a horizontal line across the bottom of your page to create an immediate action plan section. Step 1. Pick one non-essential process from your logistics column and eliminate it this week. Cut the administrative bloat to restore your team's speed. Step 2. Set up a cross-training initiative immediately. Distribute critical knowledge and approval authority so your team maintains momentum even if you step away. Step 3. Zoom out from your immediate rivals and assess the secondary threats waiting at the edge of your market ecosystem. We study history to correct our current trajectory. A strategy document only has value if it is immediately tied to corrective, measurable action. Take a look at your completed digital strategy brief. You have successfully extracted a highly functional diagnostic tool from a 260-year-old military disaster. The soldiers at Panipat fought with tremendous courage. But willpower cannot overcome a lack of basic supplies or a rigid, fragile chain of command. Like this concrete pillar cracking from the inside out, organizations rarely fall strictly to outside pressure. They crumble when internal structures are neglected until they can no longer hold the weight. Run this audit with your team. Secure your logistics, decentralize your leadership, and make sure you aren't marching blindly toward your own Panipat.